Hello. We've been looking from time to time at different books in the New Testament, different letters. And I really wanted to encourage everybody to look at the letters and to take the contents on board, remembering that basic principle that we need to let the New Testament speak to us. We don't tell the New Testament what it should have said. We don't add to the contents either. This is something that's very tempting to do, to take the basic contents of the New Testament and then so cram our culture on top that it really has trouble looking like the New Testament at all. But because it's our culture, we feel instinctively that that's the right culture, and that must be Christian. In fact, the New Testament challenges every culture. That's perhaps why at the beginning of Paul's letter to the Colossians, he reassures them that they are part of a growing, fruitful, worldwide church. Because when you're different from people around you, you can feel very isolated very quickly. And then, just glancing to my notes on my right here, Paul prays for the Colossians that they might have a deeper spiritual understanding. And this is, of course, something that we all would want. A deeper understanding of Jesus, a deeper understanding of our faith, and an ability to live out this Christian life in a way that's worthy of the Lord. It's such a challenge to know how to do that, and so there's quite a substantial section of this letter that talks about that, beginning at the beginning of chapter 3 and running through to the end of verse 6 of chapter 4. It's a really important piece of writing that it would be fantastic for us to really get to grips with and get inside of ourselves. Before that, Paul talks about the wonderful nature of Jesus and of his personal response at the end of chapter 1 and the beginning of chapter 2. He then goes into a section in chapter 2 which begins with a warning to keep separate the things of Jesus and the things that this world will want to lay onto the faith. See to it that you do not get held captive to hollow and deceptive philosophies that rely upon the basic traditions of this world, that rely upon human thinking, human desires, the rationalizations and fashions of a particular age. And in the case of the Jewish law, a whole lot of rules and regulations that are designed to restrain us from sinning by imposing behaviour. Now that's a good thing in some ways, but the problem with it is it doesn't actually stop you sinning. And we know, of course, in society at large, we've got tons of laws because people keep breaking them, and we make more laws and more laws. But just by making a law, it doesn't stop people from breaking laws. And sometimes we have to turn a blind eye, don't we, to frequent breakages of the law. And if we actually enforced it strictly, people wouldn't like it at all. Now, what we do as Christians, of course, is we respond out of love for our God in the power of the Holy Spirit, with his guidance and empowering under the lordship of Jesus. And you have a look at chapter 3, first 6 verses of chapter 4. See how that's worked out. And then after that, there's just some greetings, and there's 3 people you might want to note there. Mark, cousin of Barnabas, who is probably the one who wrote Mark's Gospel. There's Epaphras, who is wrestling in prayer for the Colossians, and I can explain about what that's about some other time. But also, there is a guy called Onesimus, and the little letter to Philemon is basically saying, this runaway slave Onesimus, he's got converted, and we're sending him back because he's got to go back to his master, but we're kind of asking you in this letter to forgive him for running away and send him back to us, because we think he's going to be really useful in sharing the gospel and taking it out into the Eastern Mediterranean. And judging by this letter, it may well be that Philemon said yes. So that's it. And next time it's Thessalonians, which was a very early letter and a little bit different in its themes from this one.